you're not cracking someone's egg by forcing them to be trans. You're literally just sharing your stories. Someone resonates with it. They learn something about themselves. Maybe something clicks in their mind. It's just about self-discovery, not, you know, pushing someone into a certain direction. I touched on this subject just like a little bit, but I wanted to talk about the video I made with Okko, or rather about Okko, where I was basically like sharing my experiences because like I resonated with a lot of the things that Okko said when it comes to like laying in bed at night and battling with God and stuff like that.
I think that if Niara had parents that cared and took them to therapy, they probably wouldn't be trans today.
No, I would have transitioned sooner.
I think that they would have ended up just like me.
I was like you, but for me that wasn't a life.
I'm a little weird. Sometimes I like lay in bed at night and have to struggle with God a little bit about myself and liking myself.
Okko reacted to this video. I haven't watched the stream. I think it's like a 6-hour stream or 4-hour, 5-hour stream. I have not watched this video. It also includes a VTuber that I've had many struggles with called Celestium, who is a Christian VTuber. And by Christian, I mean one of those Christians who use Christianity as a shield to justify their bigotry, and is mostly known for going on Roblox, preying on children, and finding children with the rainbow flags and telling them that they are going to go and burn in hell because they are gay and that's a sin. That is why I don't really want to engage with this stream at all. But there's something that I wanted to touch on because Okko actually reached out to me and we talked a little bit. I'm not going to share the things that, you know, we talked about because Okko trusted me with this and I'm not going to expose anything. I'm just saying that like a lot of the things are a little bit clearer for me when it comes to Okko. Like we do have a lot of like similar feelings on things, but we differentiate when it comes to like gender dysphoria and it being trans. And I don't believe that Okko is trans or Okko is an egg. And I do not want people from my community to shove them into that box. You know, even if I'm going to like refer to Okko with she, her pronouns. He's a VTuber using a female model, using a voice changer and stuff, and playing a character. I don't believe that those are like indicators for someone being an egg. If, I don't know, this changes at some point and Okko does come out as trans, I'm going to be supportive, but I don't want people to like shove this label onto her. I don't feel comfortable with that. And I think that's also like a problem that I back in the day saw with like Fin stuff, for example, where people were like, oh, this person likes to dress up as a girl and likes to present femininely, must be an egg. And if so many people just like shove this label on you, it makes it incredibly hard for you to like come to terms with, you know, who you are. And you get to a point where you start to like reject that label and it starts to upset you. And you think that like you can't be trans because it wouldn't come from you. It would basically come from other people projecting it onto you. Calling someone an egg can definitely cause them to further push back against it if they are or feel forced. Exactly. I've heard that like after my video dropped, people joined our Discord, Okko's Discord, and tried to explain how Okko is actually trans and is just an egg or something like that. And that is like a really toxic behavior, and it actually makes me upset. It's a really big issue. It happens a lot with femboys as well. Even if you consider yourself a cis man and you want to start HRT to look more femininely and have like skirts fit you better or something like that, I still hesitate calling them an egg, especially if they're like strangers. If it's like a joke that someone is fine with, it's different. But like just going out of your way to like tell strangers who they are, it's exactly the shit that I complain about when it comes to cishet people, when it comes to straight, when it comes to transphobic people, telling me that I will never be a woman because of this or that. Basically trying to take control of my identity and who I am and gender expression and whatnot. Everything that is like encompassed by, you know, the label identity and gender identity. Finn talked about that. Yeah, exactly. Had some issues with it when it comes to people saying it to random internet people. To friends can make sense, but it's weird to me with strangers because we don't know the person. Exactly. You know things about a person based on the things that they are sharing. And if someone does things that you resonate with and they share things that you resonate with, it doesn't mean that what helped you, you know, especially when it comes to like transitioning and stuff, doesn't mean it's going to be the fix for someone else's problems. In the video itself, I said that like I'm not trying to crack Okko's egg or, you know, do like transvestigating type of stuff. It is just I resonate with a lot of the things that I'm saying, and I'm sharing my perspective, I'm sharing my stories, and if someone resonates with that too, it doesn't mean that they are trans. I think it could be like an indicator for someone to like maybe dig deeper, for someone to maybe work with like an expert or something, but it's very important to not shove a label onto strangers. It doesn't matter whose side does it. It's the same type of behavior when like I didn't want to have like a relationship. I wasn't, you know, like the other guys looking after girls, chasing after girls and stuff like that. And people coming up to me and being like, you know, it's okay to be gay, right? It always made me really uncomfortable. It kind of made me struggle to like even talk about these things, talk about the things that I'm like dealing with, you know, obviously because I'm not just gay, I'm not just a gay cis man. Insert Batman meme breaking the gun. We do not use their weapons. Transvestigating, yeah, exactly. So I just wanted to like touch on that a little bit more because like breaking eggs and whatnot, it's like not force, and that is like the biggest part. It's like you're not cracking someone's egg by forcing them to be trans. You're literally just sharing your stories. Someone resonates with it. They learn something about themselves. Maybe something clicks in their mind. Most of the time, go to therapy and look deeper into the topic and discover more about themselves. It's just about self-discovery, not, you know, pushing someone into a certain direction. Even if it comes from a point of like empathy, sympathy, and being like, oh, it's okay to be trans, you know, like this might be like beneficial for you, and like you do all these things, like it's okay to be trans as well. You can transition. Even if it comes from a point of empathy, it is literally the same thing as straight people telling me that like it's okay to be a gay man wearing a dress, even if we all know that in reality it wouldn't be okay with them. It's the mirror shattering event. Something clicks and the mirror breaks, allowing for them to see more about themselves. Exactly. A lot of people are afraid of labels, especially when there's a label particularly hated. I feel that too, as I'm questioning myself. I mean, you know, you don't want to label people because then you're shoving them into a box, and most of the time it doesn't matter what the label entails. Being trans is okay, and not being trans is just as valid. We shouldn't force labels on one another. I think the most important part is just like it comes from someone else, like someone labels themselves. And if someone is a femboy and they're okay with being a man dressing femininely or a boy dressing femininely, and they identify with that, and even if they start HRT, and even if they say like the most stereotypical trans girl talk, it doesn't mean that they are trans. Labels are kind of cringe anyway, unless you label yourself. Exactly. Labels can be beneficial if you're trying to learn more about yourself. Labels are detrimental when they are shoved, when they are forced onto you. That's basically my small little TED talk about it. Labeling is so easy to do, but it's not cool to do. Yeah. I think it can also be like very detrimental for people who are non-binary, who like shove them into trans femme, trans mask box because they might lean towards one thing more, because it just like pushes the idea that like, oh no, actually everybody belongs to a rigid binary box. Transmedicalism, basically. Yeah, if non-binary was well talked about thing when I figured out that I was trans, I probably would have leaned towards non-binary. I feel like it also comes from the idea that like it feels like an in-between stage for a lot of trans women, trans men, that is like for a specific period of time you just like identify with this label until you see like progress with your transitioning or something like that. And I think this concept, the fact that like this is like a path for so many of us. It's like the reason why a lot of trans people jump to like the you're just like a trans woman. You're just a trans man. This is just like an in-between stage when someone comes out as non-binary, which can be very, very disgusting. Some people do that, and that feels like it invalidates NBs too. Yeah, exactly.
Shut the fuck up, bitch.
Win! Win 24/7! Hey, for the Prime, thank you for the 7-month Twitch partner. Yeah, isn't that crazy? Isn't that insane, actually? This is for you. Off topic, but it is just me, or does it feel like a Pride is overshadowed by men's mental health this year around, even though both should exist at the same time? The thing is, like, Pride was celebrated way earlier than Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. In general, Men's Mental Health Awareness Month is actually in November. That is where all the big events are. And the reason why they set it to June is basically in order to overshadow Pride. That is why in a lot of cases, in a lot of instances, when people talk about Pride, they hit you with, oh, but you never talk about men's mental health. What about men's mental health? And then it's like, what the fuck do you do for men's mental health except use it in order to invalidate the struggling of other groups? Like LGBTQ, like the Pride benefits directly men's mental health, because a lot of the issues are because men can't be affectionate with each other. Men are being shamed if they befriend women. Same with Veteran Month, yeah. And then they never do anything for veterans. They're actually taking away a lot of the things that help veterans. Pride Month, every month, real. That is why when you get my merch, my Uber Market merch, it will always be Pride, Pride stuff. I want to launch another line of that, but I have to think of a design. I thought the Everybody Hates This Bitch could be cool if I'm going to make like a Pride edition with like the rainbow, with like rainbow colors and stuff like that. Maybe trans colors. But I really like the design. I think we kind of cooked here. Don't get why some feel like they can't celebrate Men's Mental Health Month and Pride Month at the same time. Like, they don't care about men's mental health in general. They just use it in order to invalidate Pride Month. Love your design style. Thank you. We're going to see, because like the colors might be off because my magenta doesn't exist in what's that face? CMYK. We got tags available now for the server. Oh, okay. Wait. I got pinged. Why did I get pinged? Petition for a squeak toy reward on Miara streams. Chat, do you want that? They've literally been talking about it for a week. I didn't know.
Everybody